Donald Trump ran on saying he'd have a very different strategy. And that very different strategy involved a different point of view, a different point of view. And we saw that from the time he took office. First of all, shifting the security burden to Europe, saying to the Europeans, both in terms of NATO in general and in terms of dealing with the crisis between Russia and Ukraine, it's going to be on the Europeans. The U.S. will be involved. The U.S. will help, but it's not going to be an American financed or American dominated strategy. Second, pushed for peace talks. Joe Biden didn't talk to Putin at the end of his presidency. Very few European leaders did. And Donald Trump's view is, if there's going to be an end to a war, there's going to be peace talks. The alternative end to the war is Putin winning the war. And so if there's going to be an end to the war, there's going to be peace talks. And if there's going to be peace talks, you can't sit around and wait for Putin and Zelensky to set up the peace talks. It's got to be set up by the American president. So look, I'll just be clear. This isn't over. Trump hasn't succeeded, but it's not possible to end it without something akin to an American president leading the way saying we need peace talks. And he said during the campaign he would do it in the first day. And that wasn't real, right? That wasn't real. But what he also said was he would get it done and that it required talking. And now we're having talks. So that's a big thing. You need talks. You need peace talks. And we saw on Friday he kicked off talking directly to Putin. Then we saw this week on Monday, kicked off talks, talking to Zelensky and the Europeans. And people can say, well, it's already August. Well, it's still pretty rapid under the circumstances. And his envoy, Mr. Witkoff, has been pushing for that. Third is saying the quiet part out loud. Putin's not going to end the war without some sort of territorial compromise. You can call it land swaps. You can call it, a nightmare for the status of free nations. But there's going to have to be territorial compromise, and the president's been relatively open about that, saying that has to happen. Fourth element of his plan is the selective use of sanctions to try to get leverage. He's threatened sanctions. He's put on some. Contrary to the image of the president and contrary to his sometimes very friendly rhetoric towards Putin, he's not been opposed to it, but he's used sanctions as much as a threat as he has as a tool. And then finally, very transactional, very high pressure diplomacy. Saying to Putin, this has to happen. Saying to Zelensky, this has to happen. Saying to the Europeans, this has to happen. And not giving a lot of speeches about what a murderous dictator Putin is. Donald Trump's under no illusions about what kind of person Putin is. But he just doesn't think that calling Putin names is the way to get him to the table.